Welcome today to It Is Summer Sketch Giveaway. And I'm going to have a good demo for you today. We're going to spend a little bit of time studying sketching, the whichever you want to call them, notans, value sketches, whatever those are. That's what we're going to do today. So it's demo time. Let me take us into the demo and we will get rolling. Sit back and let's learn.
I have gridded my sketch to the exact same grid and proportions as my drawing. And my drawing is already been transferred to black and white. So I will just look for the big shapes.
I shy away from doing a very intricate detailed drawing as it's all going to get covered up with markers. And I do preach to my students, do not be married to your photograph, but give yourself the freedom of some of your own creative expression in it. Good drawing is important, but do feel free to make changes as you desire. That's part of the fun of creating your own work.
So that kind of just gives me the basic, like I do know back here, there is just low-lying shrubs sticking out of the snow. Now, I do come and get rid of my grid marks. So basically, then I'm going to start with markers on it, and I will push with one of my darkest darks. Now, I'm not going to use black. I am using the Blick Studio Gray marker set. It has 6 grays, and the darkest one gets close to a black. But I'm going to go just a hair conservative to start, so maybe I can get a little bit of variation in those trees. And I'm going to start, this is the number 5 basic gray, 082 of the Blick Studio. I'm going to go to the brush tip. And I want to just jump in and do my biggest effect, which is the trees. Now I will think about some of the trunks, because the white of the paper is going to create the snow. And I will use a broken line as I design Now let's give ourselves a suggestion of where the tree holes are, sky holes, so I don't block that in.
So I just go around and try to block this big mass in, not breaking it up too much, but just getting the whole body of the tree.
And I'm going to go ahead and pop over here,
following the same idea. Just block that tree in.
Bushes, trees that run off from there are pretty close to the same value when you squint down. And I'm going to jump to one value lighter. Actually, I'll be conservative and go to the 3. Jump down 2 values to maybe start working some of these.
Adding the flat lying ground that's showing through the snow.
And then I'm going to go a light even lighter with the, this will be the number 2 with the distant trees. Now you can go a second time, layering, to push this just a hair darker here. So I'm going to jump up to the number 5 and just darken the base of these a little bit. Not everywhere. Let's do a hit or miss type of line. Maybe a suggestion of tree trunks here and there. Barely a little area of brush back there. Deepen the base of these a hair, varying them. The foreground, now one thing I might do is maybe I drew these a little bit dark so you would see them. You know, if I was doing that on my own, my pencil marks would have been much lighter. I think that we could use something with even a finer tip. I want to plant this just a little bit right along that line. I'm using the Faber-Castell Pitt Artist Pen. It has a really fine tip to it. I'm going to come along here and dress things up a little bit. This is where the fun begins.
Just pick and choose where you want to add detail. You'll find areas of your own piece that it can enhance. Or you may not want to. You might want to leave it very simple. Whatever direction you decide to go is just perfectly fine.
I'm just going to suggest some of the fencing along here. We don't have to be totally perfect, and it does not have to travel the whole way. These main ones, some shrubs of some sort sticking up. All right. And then I am going to just knock back the sky with the lightest value, which is labeled as the number 1, basic gray. And I'm going to come here and just get rid of the sky really lightly. I might come down front with this lighter color to start and plant this stuff. There's just a little bit of stuff here. I start conservative. I'm starting very light with this on purpose. Now what I want to do is I want to pop the darks of the trees, the Tombow. This is a Tombow N15. It's pretty black and there's a pointed end. I'm going to use this pointed end and work these tree trunks just a little darker. Now, I'm going to just hit the ground where the base of the trees are, tree trunks, a little bit darker. How about these shrubs of some kind? I don't like to do a lot over here. Always know where you're leaving your picture. You're headed off of the page. Don't overdo it. Now I'm going to darken my main fence post. And I think that I need to jump back up and just touch a bit of foliage in front of some of that. There was more going on there than what I had accomplished. And this is where you can come along and play with your edge if you want. How about we knock just another dark back here? It's gonna fade, but there's some bushes and heavy stuff at the base of those trees. We could play that up just a hair more. I think that enhances it. We don't want to have a runaway. We can start having too much fun and have a runaway. And like I said, if you use maybe white paper, I just lean towards these creamy tones. But you can try yours on super white paper and that will read more like snow. There's no real shadows. It's a pretty overcast day, pretty intense as far as the light is pretty gray. Maybe I'll use the Micron 01. I think I'm going to just do what I love to do, which is tweak it out a little bit more around this focus, the focal point. I'm going to tweak it out with a little bit of shrubbery, maybe just a tad more work into the bushes. Can you overdo? Yep, you sure can. Maybe as I come down here, it's a lot of snow, so I don't want to break that up. But you could play it up right along there, lead into the image with the eye, into your composition with some detail right here. I'm not going to go over here. I mean, you could add a little bit of bob wire if you wanted. I'd be careful, but that's just my taste. You might want to. I think this tree over here needs to be darker at the base. So let's pick up the darkest dark of, I don't want to do black, but I'm going to do the basic gray number 6. I'm going to take this just a tad bit darker on the base of this tree here. And there's probably some areas in the other tree that could go tad bit darker too. Let's do it very purposeful, not having a runaway, but on purpose. I'm paying attention to where I see some of the darker areas within the tree itself. Maybe giving us just a little more dimension, but you know, we want to be careful not to get it too busy where it stops reading correctly as the dark upright in the picture. Let's knock back the sky holes here. They shouldn't be white. I think that they need to go darker. Let's quiet that down just a little bit. Let's quiet down the tops of this tree. Yeah. So I think that works pretty good. I think this will be a totally up to you of where you want to go with any details any further along the landscape. Like how much do you want to do? Tweaking it out with, you know, different branches and bushes down here. Let's darken that right there. Let's go just a tad bit darker with it. I'll do the number 5. Let's darken this tree. Bush, not a tree. I guess it could be a small young tree, but I do believe these are just kind of some shrubs that are growing here underneath these trees. And I want to pull these, if I pull these darker, then it pulls this layer of darker value and you keep this in the background. I think this could go just a hair darker too, right under that tree. I'm beautifying the edge. Beautify your edge as much as you want. And I'm having way too much fun. There you go. We're going to call that a wrap. Those are the snowfields underneath the cottonwoods.
Hopefully that was helpful. There's a couple questions I'm going to answer. I started this question from Diane. She's asking, do the markers bleed through the paper? So most of the time they don't if you have a decent sketchbook. Now you don't have to have a super heavy one, but if you get one that you do find the marker bleeds through a little bit, all you really have to do is slip a piece of copy paper in between the next sheet, and then you don't, bleed on to the following page. So occasionally I have a few books that will do that. It's one thing it does depend is how hard are you pressing as well. So there was one more question on here that I wanted to go find. Anna asked, can you please tell me the name of the Faber-Castell and the Tombow marker again? So this is a very cool pen, that one that I used a little bit. I've been experimenting with different pens beyond the markers. So this is a Faber, don't know if I'm saying that right, Castell. It's called Pitt, Pitt Artist Pen. The Dick Blick, the 6-pack, it doesn't have a black, but I will be honest with you, the darkest one on here is pretty darn dark. So it will work pretty good for you if you don't have a black. But I used a Tombow black, and they have this is a water-based Tombow, and this one is just one of the black ones, the real blacks. And by the brush tip, that they have 2 ends. There's a brush end, and usually let me get this up in front of the camera, and the pointed little smaller end that you can see. I typically try to tell people to buy markers that have a brush tip. I'm going to talk to you about the Sketch Extravaganza course. If you are interested in that course, it is very affordable. And if you would like to go and look at it online, you can go to lindaglovergooch.com/sketch course. I have 10 lessons in there that are just like what you saw. They're all very detailed. They last about 30 minutes, something like 28 minutes, 35 minutes, all 10 of them. There's a variety. There's clouds, there's the canyon, there's mountain scenes, there's river scenes, there's some trees. So it's a wide, like I call it a buffet of different sketches. Very detailed. I give you the number, the value number, all that. So you can go to lindaglovergooch.com/sketch course. That will take you to the extravaganza website where you can look at that course. I want everybody to get to the easel and practice. And then again, like I was telling you all about the sketch extravaganza course, where you can get what I just did today for a very reasonable price, $67. It's 10 sketches. And they're full. I give you the color photograph, I give you a black and white photograph, and I give you a gridded photograph. And then I take you through that step by step. Now, the place to find that course, lindaglovergooch.com/sketch course. So that's a variety of Grand Canyon pictures, just different. It's a buffet, is what I like to call it. It's a buffet of different scenes, and they're all in the markers, and you get a full supply list, and it's lifetime access for $67. So you can go there and run through 10 of those. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining.